What's good, YouTube? It's your boy NewEraMar's back again with another video for y'all. And today we're about to get into the top 10 albums of 2018. My top 10 albums, you know what I'm saying? They might not be yours, but they my top 10 albums. Really, I had to sit and think about the albums that I listened to the most this year. You know, which albums had the most replay value? What did I go back to time and time again throughout the year, even to this day? Like, even right now, if you cut it on, I'm still cool listening to it. What albums could I listen to mostly the whole way through, if not the whole way through? You know what I'm saying? With like, what had the least amount of skippable tracks? You know what I'm saying? Like, what could I just listen to the whole way through and be content? What albums was I hype about? What gave me the best feeling listening to it? You know what I mean? And that's pretty much how I came up with this list. That's the criteria I was going for. Honestly, when I look back at 2018 and like the music that came out this year, I think there was some ups and there was some downs. I feel like the artists that I always expect the most from, I feel like I didn't exactly get everything I wanted from them this year. But there were some artists who came out that I'm not the biggest fan of, or like I'm cool with their music, but like I'm not ever too pressed to get music from them. But those artists surprised me this year, and I was like, wait, they killing it. They performing above average. But my favorite artists, they kind of like slipping a little bit. Like, it's like the material that they put out isn't up to the standard of what I expected from them. You know what I'm saying? Everything could have been a little bit better. Like, this wasn't your best. I think that it was some high points, some low points. You know what I'm saying? I think it was some pretty good music put out this year, but I can't even lie. When I was trying to make this top 10 list, it was getting kind of hard. It was hard for me to think of 10 solid albums that dropped this year that I was like, yeah, I'm rocking with these, and like I'm gonna be listening to these for years to come. You know what I mean? It was really getting hard for me to put 10 together. So I tried my best, and we just gonna get into it. First and foremost, this is my list, not yours. These are the albums that I listened to all this year, and that was the most enjoyable to me. You know, you might feel like certain albums deserve to be on this list, and I understand that. However, if they didn't make the list, that's because honestly, I don't listen to them that much. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do another video on the albums that like could have made the list. Like, I'm gonna do another one for the honorable mentions pretty much. But right now, these are the top 10 albums that I had on repeat all year long. I'm done talking. Let's just get straight into it. Let's go. Number 10 on this list has to go to Meek Mill with Championships. Now, I know what some of y'all probably thinking. You know, Meek fans probably like, hold up. You putting that low on the list, number 10? I'm gonna keep it real. The only reason this is number 10 is because it came out so late in the year. It just came out like 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have time to sit with it all the way yet. Like, I didn't get to fully digest it. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this album in a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta sit with it, as opposed to like other albums on this list that I've been sitting with since they dropped in the beginning of the year, and I'm still listening to them now. But I can't lie, this album was solid, and that's the only reason it really made the list, because it was better than all the other albums I was debating on putting at number 10. Lyrically, it was better than some of the other albums that I have on this list. That was the hardest I heard Meek ever go on a consistent basis. You know, like, I heard some songs from him that was dope, but I never really been too big into like his full projects. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the biggest Meek fan, but this impressed me a lot. And he was the message on it was everything. You know, the message on this album was very important. Yeah, I had to give that to him. You know, he had to at least make the list, you know. So that's why Meek is number 10 on the list. Championships, great album. Number 9 on this list. This is gonna be a little shocking to some people probably, but number 9 on this list has to go to Lil Yachty with Lil Boat 2. This album was hard, and I don't know if many people appreciated it. I heard a lot of people say it was whack, I was like, yo, y'all thought that was whack? I thought the album was hard. I think the album blew up this year to me because of the singles. Like some of the songs on the album really stood out. Second song on this album called Boom with Ugly God. I thought that song was amazing. I still listen to that now and I get hyped. Like that song is just dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of my favorite songs this year. He had some dope records on here, like That's Cap. I listen to that a lot. Mickey, if you know the song Mickey, that went viral just off of the dance that they did with it. You seen people doing the little dance where they had like they was driving and somebody would pour their feet. I know y'all seen that. You know what I'm talking about. The 66 with Trippie Redd. I know people was hype about that from the snippet. I thought this was a solid album. You know, there was different moments this year where I would catch a different song off this album and I would be like, yo, this is really hard. Let me go back to the album again. And I would listen to it. I'm like, yo, this is a solid album. I thought this was some of Yachty's best work, probably his best project to me personally. But yeah, I thought this was a solid project. I listened to it a lot. When I think of the whole year, I'm like, I really listened to this album a lot this year. Like it had some of the most replay value. You know what I'm saying? So I thought this was a dope album. And number 8 on this list has to go to J.Cole with KOD. I know there's gonna be some people watching this. I know one of my homies is already gonna be watching this like, whoa, that should be like top 5. But to be completely honest, I thought this was a solid album. It was a really good album. It was dope. I loved the message he was trying to convey through on this album. It was dope. It was really dope to me. I really like this album. But it wasn't my favorite Cole album. It was a little disappointing when I listened to it. Like I don't know. It just didn't have that much replay value to me. Like I listened to certain songs off of here. Like Kevin's Heart is my favorite song on the whole album. I said that on the review. I said, yo, this is my song right here. But even listening to the songs, I was like, yeah, these songs is dope. The message is dope. The message is necessary. But I don't really go back and listen to it as much as I do some of the other albums on here. Like I listen to it from time to time, don't get me wrong. Like if I'm on my way home from work or something, I might just throw the album on, just let it play or whatever. If I'm just doing something, I'll let it play. But I haven't been like in the mood to hear this album that much. Some of these songs are very relatable. The song Friends on this album is dope. Friends is the one where he was just talking about like, you know, smoking and don't let that be what you use to get you out of depression and stuff like that. Like I needed to hear that. That song meant a lot to me. This album's meaning alone meant a lot to me. It was a dope album. It was pretty well put together. The album was lyrically better than most albums that dropped this year. Maybe all the albums that dropped this year. This might have been the most lyrical. Number 7 on this list has to go to Lil Baby, Harder Than Ever. This album was harder than ever. I can't even lie. I rock with this so heavy. I listen to this a lot. There were songs on here that I really listened to a lot. Like, let me go to the track list and let me pull it up. Like, first of all, as soon as I heard Yes Indeed, I was hyped. I was sold on that. I was ready to hear the whole project from that moment on. Yes Indeed was hard. Drake came through with a solid verse, but you know what was crazy? Lil Baby kind of outshined him on that. Like everybody was saying, "Wham, wham, wham, I'm Lil Baby." You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was saying that line. Everybody was like, "Brand new whip, got no keys, tell him I close no." Like I knew his verse by heart before I even learned Drake's. He killed that. This album had some bangers on it. The song Leaked on there, one of my favorite songs this year. Life Goes On with Gunna and Lil Uzi Vert. Why didn't I put that in my top songs this year? That right there is a smash. Transporter with Offset. My favorite on this project might have to be Never Needed No Help. This whole thing just jams from top to bottom. It's no songs that you need to skip. It's just hard. It's hard. I really rock with this album. A lot of these songs just knock in the whip. A lot of these songs bang in the club too. He got party bangers on here. He was living it up this year off this album. I think he like rookie of the year with this album alone. So I thought this was a dope album. It definitely had to make the list. That's my number 7. All right, so number six on this list for me, Migos, Culture 2. I feel like a lot of people forgot about this album and very fast, and I understand completely why. I feel like Migos drops so much, like their label alone just drops so much. They put so much music out. It's like they didn't even really push this like they should have. And then they went on to do solo projects. Then they went on to feature on other people's tracks. Then it was just so much music from them this year. This just flew under the radar. But there was some highlights on here. Everybody knows Walk It, Talk It. That was a big song this year. One of my favorite songs this year. This album was solid to me. I actually like this better than Culture 1. And a lot of people say they like Culture 1 better. That's, if you do, I'm not knocking that. That was a dope album too. But I like this one a little bit better because like it just had more replay value to me. Like I don't go back to Culture 1. Like them songs just played out to me. But this is hard. Like I like the intro, Higher We Go. Narcos is hard. Autopilot grew on me. Autopilot is hard. I just caught that a couple months ago and I was like, ooh, this is crazy. Walk It, Talk It, of course, a hit. Emoji a Chain is cool. Flooded is one of my favorite songs this year. Motorsport ended up growing on me. When I first heard that song, I was like, this is whack. I wasn't feeling it. But it grew on me. It grew on me. Notice Me with Post Malone. I loved, man, when that album first dropped, I said, this is the best song on there. I don't feel like that now, but it's a dope song. Two Player is like one of my top songs of this year. That's like 8 or 9 tracks right there alone that I've been listening to consistently all throughout the year, and I still listen to them to this day.
To this day! To this day!
You know what I'm saying? And this dropped in January. This was top of the year. There's 24 songs on here. And I'm not the biggest Migos fan, so I wasn't really pressed to listen to this consistently. But over time, I just keep going back and letting the album play, and I'll find another song that I like when I'm paying attention. I'm like, yo, what was that? I didn't even know that was on there. Like, songs just start growing on me, and it's still growing on me. You know what I'm saying? This definitely had to make the list. Number 5. We in the top 5 now. This is the breakdown right here. This one is going to throw y'all for a loop. I ain't gonna lie. First of all, I'm going to just go ahead and say, this is the best R&B album to drop this year. I had to throw R&B one in there. That's just me. I don't know if this dude the king of R&B, but he putting out the best R&B album this year, in my opinion, and nobody cared. Number 5 has to go to Jacquees, 4275. I can't even lie. This album is hard from top to bottom. If you in the R&B, and you don't like when the R&B too soft, you know what I mean, like all them falsetto songs and nothing like that. You don't be wanting to hear that all the time. But if you want like a perfect mixture of some hard beats, but dope singing, and something for the ladies you could put on, but you feel comfortable playing it too, this is the album you want to listen to right here. I'm telling you, like, this album is solid. I'll vouch for this album. I've been trying to put everybody on this album. Like, yo, this is hard. But nobody noticed it. I don't hear nobody talking about this album. People keep saying, like, what did he do this year to make himself king of R&B? I'm like, this album right here. This is what he did. I thought this was solid. Some of the highlight tracks I'll recommend if you didn't hear it. Studio, featuring Young Thug. No Validation. Inside, featuring Trey Songz. That, man, you gotta play that around a girl. Trust me. You can play all these songs around a girl, but that song, you gotta play that. London, you gotta play that song with a girl too. That's the vibe when you about to go pick your shorty up and you know you on your way to it. That's the vibes. Yeah, I'm telling you, you gonna feel it. House or Hotel, Play the Field, and my favorite song, You. It's just hard. It's hard. This album don't do no wrong. It's the most solid. I don't have to skip no songs on here, no lie. And it's not many albums I can say that for this year. So this had to make the list. I love this album. It's the best R&B album this year. I rock with it heavy. Now, number 4 on the list has to go to Pusha T, Daytona. First and foremost, this album made me want to sell drugs off rip. I remember doing a reaction to this. I think this might be the highest rated album I had this year. One of the highest rating. Well, at the time, it was one of the higher ones that I rated. It was like 9 point something. Honestly, I ain't even gonna lie. I think I might have to push it up just a little bit. This album right here is dope. I can't even lie. This is definitely one of the best albums that come to. This is probably, if I was gonna rearrange the list and make like just hip hop list and just going off of like lyricists, like lyrics, just going off of like lyrics and production and just solid, I would probably put this at number 1 if I was just basing it off that. This album alone made the top moment of the year. He started beefing with Drake off of this. I mean, they was already beefing, but like it sparked the beef head on, like where they was just going at each other. Like that set the tone for the year. We were so hyped to have that moment. You know what I'm saying? So like, and he came out on top in the beef. You know, Drake never replied back. You know, I mean, that's another conversation we could have, because I would say lyrically, I think Drake kind of got it, but I think overall he got it. He won the battle at the least. I thought this had to be one of the top albums this year. You can't not notice this album. This was hard. Number 3 on this list, and this is gonna shock people too. This is gonna shock a couple people. They're gonna be like, this ain't number 1 for you? Usually this man would be number 1 for me, but if I'm being honest, it just didn't live up all the way to the expectations that I personally had. But number 3 has to go to Drake, Scorpion. First of all, let me just say, this album is dope. It's dope. It's a good album. It's really good. I just think that he could have cut some of these songs out. I also felt like he did too much explaining. You know, he was going through the beef with Pusha and Kanye. All he did was throw jabs. I felt like it took away from the album. However, Drake's worst day is better than any rapper's best day usually. This man can't fall off, it seemed like. It's like I was so anxious to know what he was going to do this year. Like in the beginning of the year, I was like, Drake been popping way too long. Been like 10 years now. What is he going to do next? Like, he's already at the top. I thought the only way to go was down. He pushed the ceiling up a little bit and went a little higher. I said, wait a minute. How the hell did he do that? This man had so many hits this year. This album was hard just off of the singles alone. I mean, God's Plan went number 1 and it ran the whole year. That was like the biggest song to drop this year alone. In My Feelings. Nice for What? That's 3 hits. Those 3 songs ran the charts all this year. I think if he would have took a few songs out, he easily would have had number 1 this year. Easily. If he would have took a few songs out, like some of these songs I could have did without. Like that joint with Michael Jackson. Y'all like that song? I'm cool off that joint. I really don't like it that much. Elevate, I'm cool without that. I don't go back to that. Sandra's Rose, he had some dope bars. I don't go back to that. Talk Up with Jay-Z. You could have took that off. Jay didn't even give you a solid verse. Summer Games needs to be erased from your discography altogether. But everything else would have fit perfect. I would have let him bang out. Even though it's not his best work in my eyes, it's better than most of what I heard this year. Clearly. That's why it's number 3 on the list. You can't take that away from him. This man he got so many hits on here. It's good. It's a great album. Now, we at the final 2. And that means these are the 2 albums that I felt was the most consistent. I listen to them all the time. And they just killed it this year. This number 2 is about to shock y'all probably. I think I just don't see y'all guessing this one. Number 2 on this list for me personally gotta go to Gunna, Drip Season 3. Man, let me tell you something. First of all, this was the first time I even paid attention to Gunna. I might have heard him on like a Thug song before or something, but like this project's solid. This is the one I probably played the most this year. Honestly, I played this album the most this year. I don't think there's no artist I played more than Gunna this year. I'm gonna just say that. But this album was super dope. This put me on. This put me on to Gunna. I think that he had some of the best songs this year just with this project alone. At the Hotel, Top Off, Car Sick with Nav. Oh my gosh. Had to go on my top list this year. OK with Thug and Baby, Spending Addiction, Drip or Drown, Almighty, Hell of a Price. This junk just flow. It just flow. It's one of the most consistent projects this year. I rock with it heavy. It's really not no real bad songs on here. I think it might have been like 1 or 2 songs I could have did without. But I bet you in like a couple weeks, I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to it, and the song going to be hard all of a sudden. I think what happened, you know what made this album so good? It wasn't no hype around it. It wasn't like everybody hyped it up and then played it out real fast. It grew on me piece by piece. Like one song at a time. Like, wait a minute, that's on the album too? This album hard. I listen to this so much. In fact, I'm gonna listen to it when I'm done with this video, because now I'm in the mood looking at the track list and I'm like, yo, yeah, I want to hear a few of them songs. This album hard. I can't even lie. Had to be on the top list this year. Now, we at the final album that's gonna be #1 on the list. That means this is the album I rock with the most. That means from the day it dropped, it been an uphill from there, and it's still going, clearly, because that's why it's #1. It ain't fading away no time soon. It's hard. This album hard. #1 got to go to Travis Scott, Astroworld. Simple. I remember reacting to it, and I was so impressed. This was the most impressive album I heard this year. Like, it had moments on it, and I went into it kind of excited. I'm like, okay, everybody been hyping this up. I'm not the biggest Travis fan. I wasn't before this year. I thought I was just ready to hear the album because everybody was saying it was gonna be so amazing. Travis got something up his sleeve. It's called Astroworld. I'm like, all right, well, let's hear it. I wasn't really pressed because when I listened to the joint he did, the Huncho Jack project, oh, I thought that was hot garbage. But I did like Travis's last album, the Birds in the Trap project. Hard album in 2017. One of the top albums last year. So I was like, if he go back to that and he keep that energy, this can't be bad then. So I was kind of excited to hear it. And boy, was I in for a surprise. Off of first listen, I said, this is dope. This is like one of the highest rated albums I had this year. I said, off of first listen, this is hard. I can't wait to give y'all an update on how I felt about it as the months went on. Well, here's the update. It got better. I played this on a turn up night. Oh, these songs is 10 times harder. Playing this when you at the gym, this album got you in the gym trying to push 250. You ain't benching 250. You ain't even doing 60 yet, but you doing it when the album playing, but when it's done, you almost break your neck when the bar drop on you. That's how hard this album was to me. I don't think there's a song you need to skip on here. Now, I wouldn't have said that at first. At first, when I first listened to it, I said, maybe 1 or 2 songs I could do without. Nope. Every week I play any song that I thought I would have skipped, I go back and I'm like, nope, wouldn't skip that. That's hard. What was I thinking? It's this a flawless album. And I think he had the best visuals this year. His videos was dope. His tour looks amazing. My man pulling the roller coasters out. Come on. Flying through the crowd on a roller coaster. Nah, that's too hard. That you don't want to miss that. So he got the best visuals, the best album, I think. He killed it. This is Travis' year. He just came up this year. I thought this was the best album this year. Alright, so we at the end of the video now. I gave you my top 10 albums of 2018. I want y'all to comment below. Tell me what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know what y'all would throw on the list, what y'all into. What was y'all listening to this year? Because honestly, it was hard for me to pick 10 albums. I'm gonna keep it real. It was kind of getting hard. I was like, yo, it ain't really 10 solid albums this year, in my personal opinion, that I'm really still listening to right now. Like, a lot of albums just came and went. But I want to know what y'all would have put on this list. What would you arranged around? What would you put higher? What was your number one? What was your top 5? Comment below. Let me know. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if you like the video. If not, just don't hit the thumbs down. Just leave. Just get off the video. It ain't nothing. Make sure you subscribe if you didn't already. Follow your boy on Instagram. Do all of that. It's your boy NewEraMar's. I'm out. Peace.